Hey everybody, this is Mike with the One Stop Co-op Shop, and I'm here with another preview. This is the upcoming Aeon's End standalone set, The Descent. I'm going to do a quick version of the introductory story, then play through a full two-handed solo playthrough, and then give my impressions on the new elements in this one at the end. And as always, we accept no compensation for our coverage. We just want to help you make an informed decision. And if you like the content on the One Stop Co-op Shop, consider supporting us through Patreon. You get early access to our videos and exclusive videos every month you can't see anywhere else. You can also listen to our podcast for reviews and interviews and lots of great stuff, or join the conversation and say hi on our Discord. So again, this is The Descent, a standalone set. It has a bunch of new heroes, or sorcerers, or breach mages, whatever they're called, a bunch of new nemesis, a bunch of new market cards, and this is in the same format as New Age and Outcast, my personal favorite Aeon's End sets, in that it has a story-based, kind of unlockable mini-campaign, but then it uses the expeditions system where you can play through it over and over again, getting treasures and things to kind of level yourself and the enemy up as you play. So you can mix and match it, and yeah, we're just going to see how it goes and jump in. Not really going to explain how Aeon's End works. I think if you're watching this, you probably already know, and if you don't, there are like a billion videos on the channel for Aeon's End already. You can go watch any of those. All right, so first I'm going to read a little bit of this introductory story, but I'm going to sort of skim some parts and zoom in on faces to try to make it a little bit more interesting. But if you don't like any of that, use the timestamp and you can jump right to the setup. Nestled between the ocean and its 50-foot garrison walls, Carrick has stood as the shining capital city of Melia for over 10 generations. Since its creation, the unique placement of Carrick and the industrious spirit of the people who live there has made it the world leader in imports, exports, fishing, philosophy, craftsmaking, tourism, and cultural exchange. Its iconic brass-domed Capitol building sits in the center of the city, shining like a beacon to all the ships coming to share in a small piece of Carrick's prosperity. See?
What am I supposed to see, Brahma?
See that the world that was used to be full of wonderful things like philosophy and cultural exchange, and now we have nothing? I apologize, Brahma, but I don't think we needed to break into Elder Merla's tent to figure that out.
No, Delana, the city. 50-foot walls back against the ocean. The book says Carrick is the most defensible city in the world that stood for thousands of years. This could be our stronghold. People might even still live there.
That was the before times. I'm sure it's been destroyed. Everything has been destroyed. The elders say...
Oh, please don't spout off about what the elders say. Delana and Thrax here, you two are followers. If you really cared about the rules, you wouldn't be sneaking into Sisterhood tents with us. You could get excised from the clan for this, you know.
So the clan is cruel and divisive. That doesn't mean we suddenly have the freedom to leave. A traveler on their own without the protection of witches is inviting death.
But witches aren't the only ones who can fight, Thrax. You're a warrior, and you can even open breaches now. I've seen it. Lower your voice. You and Jonty have the sister words. You're not the ones risking everything with this plan.
And what about those of us who can't open breaches? What choice do we have?
You can choose to listen to me. Traveling alone, we may be helpless, but we have never been alone. The Sisterhood wants us to think that submitting to their hierarchy is the only way to survive the wastelands, but I have fought alongside them and my magic is equal to their own. Jonty and I know the sister words. Thrax here is learning magic, and the other guards can fight without it. I know you've been studying beneath Master Tovia, Delana. You were the one who tended Elder Rhina's wounds after the battle with the Grinning Horror. The Sisterhood belittles the followers, but you are invaluable to the survival of our clan. We could make it out of here, together. To what end? To be a new clan, wandering around and hoping never to bump into the Sisterhood we betrayed? To go to Carrick. That's what you wanted to tell us, wasn't it? You think Carrick is still around, Brahma. You want to settle there. I want...
Merla, you old bag of bones, are you in there?
Oh, no.
Damn it. Well, what have I stumbled into? A couple trespassers, thieves. You must be skulking around in the shadows like this.
We're not thieves. We're preparing to leave the clan. Brahma has found a city from the world that was, which had defenses even the Nameless couldn't overwhelm. We're sick of living on the run at the whim of the elders. We want to build something. A real home without fear.
You want to leave the clan? You four. Look at Delana. She wouldn't last a day out there alone. She won't be alone. We'll protect her. She'll protect us. We don't discriminate. Put her down, cousin. You think you can keep up with me? 2 followers and 2 pups barely speaking the words? Prove it then. Scouts took us too far for an arc avoiding the mountains. Led us right into an ambush. We're standing on void scum.
Where are the sisters?
Preoccupied. The swamp's not our only problem. Seems like a nasty hive of creatures has been using it as their hunting ground. We are surrounded. Well, sure you don't want to cower inside and be protected like the other followers? Never again. We fight. All right, it's a quick summary if you didn't get that, because I was skipping some of the expository parts of the story clearly. Lisan is one of this sisterhood of witches that is sort of traveling around a wasteland. By the way, I have no idea where this sits in the big extended Aeon Z lore. I feel like I've seen some of these characters in older incarnations in other games. So I'm not sure if this is a reboot of Aeon Z, if it's a far back in the past prequel to Aeon Z, and this city they're searching for is going to become Gravehold or something. I don't know. But anyway, so Lisan is with the sisterhood. Janti and Brahma have learned the sister words, which I guess means they're on their way to becoming breach mages, witches. Throxir and Alana are followers. So they help out, but they can't actually cast magic. So I guess they're a lower tier, although it turns out the Thraxier can, and he's not supposed to. And we want to go and find this city. And Lisan seems to want to be testing us with this fight we're about to do. And if we win, then maybe she'll help us break away from the sisterhood and get to where we're trying to go. So yeah, if you skipped all of that, that's fun. Let's get to the actual setup for this first mission. All right, so first we've got Brahma, one of the characters I'm using. She starts with one breach open, has 3 regular ones to open. She's the most basic character in the starting set of 4. You will unlock more as you go through the campaign. Her ability is regenerate during any player's main phase. It says gain 4 life. I'm assuming since it's any player's phase, it means that specific player gains 4 life. And then they can suffer 2 damage, or maybe that's her suffering 2 damage. I don't know. So maybe she gains 4 life, and then she can suffer 2 damage, and if she does, Gravehold gains 4 life. So a lot of healing for her. Her unique cards are Funneled Rage, while Prep. When she suffers damage, she gains an Ether token, which can be spent on her next turn to buy things, just like Ether from gem cards. And when a player would suffer damage, you may suffer that damage instead. But that's just a basic spark casting thing once you actually attack with it. So she wants to take damage and then heal herself. And then her other card, starting in her deck, is Eternium. She gains 1 Ether, and she can suffer a damage, and if she does, any ally gains an Ether tokens. So she's just putting out a bunch of extra Ether, a bunch of extra money to help people out, and then healing herself to recover from it. Janti, on the other hand, is on the more complicated side. So her ability is called Interlace. She gains the top card of her Infusion deck, I'll show you that in a second, and places it into her hand, or she destroys an Infusion to deal 8 damage. And her ongoing card here, Redirector, it kind of interacts with Infusion as well. So she deals 1 damage, and she resolves any effects on or attached to the breach this was cast from 1 additional time. So if she casts it from a 3 or a 4 with their +1 damage, it would be +2 damage instead. But really, that's all about the infusions that she can get. So again, when she does her ability, she gains 1 of the cards from her Infusion deck, and it gets attached to any player's breach, and then it gives you a bonus like the level 3 and 4 breaches when you cast from that breach. So this one gives you Ether. This one deals extra damage. This one lets you prep more spells there. You can trash cards in your hand or deck, that kind of stuff. And again, her Redirector is going to let her double whatever the bonus is from these, just like it will double the bonuses from 3 and 4. But do note that Janti starts with no open breaches and does not have a level 1 breach, so she's going to struggle a bit with that. We've also got our basic market set. This is the starting one you have at the beginning of the campaign, but you do unlock more cards as you go. And you'll see these as we play, but the big thing I want to call attention to here, Silent Sting has this, are these elemental tokens. I think this is new to Aeon's End. There's a bunch of elements in here that I've never seen before, but I did stop playing after Outcasts, so I haven't played, Legacy of Gravehold, so if any of these things were introduced there, feel free to let me know in the comments, but I think these are new. So you have these tokens like Venom here, and it says cast, place a Venom token on an enemy and deal 1 damage to it. And how these tokens work are, they have a little ability, and this ability gets triggered either when the enemy is defeated, enemy being a minion or nemesis. So here, if I cast Silent Sting on somebody and then blew them up with a spell, I would get to deal 2 damage to anybody else. Or alternatively, when a second elemental token is put on somebody, all the elemental tokens resolve. And by the way, here's Electrified, lets anybody gain a charge, or whoever's turn it is when the thing gets killed. And then Immolate lets you destroy a card in your hand. So those are the 3 that are in this set. And again, I think this is a new thing, and they are pretty cool. They make, in my opinion at least, the player cards a bit more varied, but we'll get to that when I get to my thoughts later. The other, I think, new addition, this one I definitely haven't seen before, and I believe this is new to the Descent, are Foes and Friends. So basically the idea is in the campaign, they give you 1 of each automatically, and they even get cards in the turn order deck.
And each of them has a 4-card deck of actions, and you can always see what the top one will be, so you have some idea of what's coming. But whenever the foe has a turn, whenever the friend has a turn, you resolve the top deck, and then it gets discarded. I'm just going to kind of do that so it's more obvious when I need to shuffle. And same thing whenever the foe gets a turn. In the case of Delana the healer, she can get charges from her cards, and when she is ready to fire off her ability, it lets a player a Gravehold gain 4 life. So between her and Brahma, we should have a lot of healing. Whereas the Swarm can bring enemies, minions that have been defeated back to life, or put these Broodlings into play. These are basic, annoying little minions that they can summon over and over again through a lot of their cards. Although they go with the Nemesis, so they're going to trigger on the Nemesis' turn, just the Swarm is the one who actually brings them into play. And that's about it for foes and friends. As you go through the campaign, you'll get several of them, so then you can mix and match them however you like in future plays. And finally, I'm going to show you the first Nemesis in the campaign, which is the Infector. This is a very basic one. Doesn't mean it's bad, but it's certainly not that unique. There are some very interesting ones later in the Descent campaign, but I won't tell you about them. I won't spoil. So yeah, the Infector has these infection cards. A lot of their abilities will put them in front of players, and then they'll get triggered by other abilities, and they just kind of like mess with you in different ways. And you can never get rid of them. They just hang out with your character. And yeah, the unleashing effect of the Nemesis is going to make them go over and over again. He's got 60 life, by the way. And I could increase the difficulty by starting with 3 infections, but let's keep this short and sweet. So that's all you really need for him, and we're ready to go. Oh, sorry, almost ready to go. I forgot an important thing for the foes and friends. They have these 6 cards called banner cards, and they actually have something on the bottom so you know when it's coming. And each player gets to pick one and replace either a basic crystal in their opening hand or a basic spark in their opening hand with one of these. And these are very basic. They're just sparks or crystals, gems, but they also have a way to either let the friend gain 1 charge, in this case, Delana the healer, or to have, or have the foe, the Swarm, lose a charge. I want to get more charges, and I just realized neither of my characters has a spark. So let's get 2 of these. Here, we'll give one of us the Banner of Sagas, gain a money, or give the friend a charge. And then this one will have the Banner of Infusion, gain a charge, or any player loses a charge to give the friend 2 charges. All right. So I'll go ahead and give Janti the Banner of Sagas instead of one of her starting crystals, and give Brahma the Infusion one. Okay, now we're actually ready to go. That's first we're getting a 2, which is our friend Brahma. Or sorry, not our friend, because that's actually a game term now. Just Brahma. So she has no spells to cast, but she's got Funneled Rage. So let's go and prep that to her first breach. And that's kind of one I might never want to cast, right? Since it gives either tokens over and over again. Okay, and now she could either get 4 ether, or she could spend 2 ether to get a charge, and then use the Banner of Infusion to give our friend ether. But we're not hurt yet, so now let's just get the 4. And with that, I will go through our purchasing options. We've got Flamium for the cheapest gem, only costs 3. You get 2 ether, or place an Immolate token on an enemy. That's the one that lets you destroy a card. Washium gains you 2 ether, but then you can spend 1 ether to focus your close breach with the lowest focus cost, so it's really going to be worth at least 3, if not 4 or 5 later. And then finally, Acidic Flow Mite gets you 3 ether, and then you can lose a charge, place an Immolate token, which again will let you destroy cards in your hand. Our first of 2 relics, I really like this one, the Coruscating Mirror. When a minion is drawn from the Nemesis deck, you may reveal this from hand to place an Electrify token on that minion, which means when you defeat them, you're going to get a charge, and it just gets revealed from your hand, so you could do this like if you get a bunch of minions before your turn comes up. And then when you actually play it, it lets an ally draw a card and get an ether token. So it sort of replaces itself and then some, but for a friend. Then we've got the Defensive Dome, which costs 7, but this I think is also new. Again, I have not seen this unless it was in Legacy of Gravehold. And there's a cool thing. It's called a develop cost. So basically, if you spend 4, you put this near your main board. And then in a future turn, you can spend 4 again to actually add it to your deck. So it kind of lets you put a down payment on an item. But yeah, this one's pretty super powerful. When an attack is drawn from the Nemesis deck, you may reveal and destroy this to discard that attack without resolving it. So you cancel an entire Nemesis attack if you have it in hand when, or if you have this in hand when it happens. Otherwise, just any player gains 2 life. So not great for that second effect, but of course you want to save it for its first one. And then our spells, you already saw Silent Sting with the Venom that does 2 damage when the target is destroyed or gets another one of those tokens, and it can be developed for 2 instead of its 3 cost. Legacy Slayer, while prepped, when any player gains a relic, those 2, you gain 1 charge, and it deals 3 damage, not bad. Time Rift deals 4 damage, and each player may reveal the top card of their deck and either discard it or return it to the top of their deck. And then the big one for this current set, although I have no idea what this picture represents. I mean, it's got healing, but it's all supposed to do 6 damage, so I'll know where the 6 damage part comes from. Restoration Siphon, deal 6 damage or deal 1 damage and let Gravehold gain 3 life. So we got healing options out the wazoo here. But with Brahma getting 4, I'm tempted by Legacy Slayer to get some early damage, because neither of us seems super strong, and that would be enough by itself to kill like one of those swarm people, for example. Or Washium is going to again be worth a lot more ether than it seems, because it's going to let us very cheaply focus our breaches and get stuff open. Let's start with Washium. It's always, or almost always, a good idea to get some more powerful gems early on. So that's all 4. I'll put my best stuff on top, and we're ready to go with our next set of stuff. And I think I might... Yeah, I'm just thinking if I, next turn, use the Eternium and suffer 1 damage, whenever I suffer damage, I'll get an Ether token. And if I do, I'll let an ally gain an Ether token. So I could get a whole bunch of money if I just take a damage on myself. But next in turn order is the foe. Let's go check out the Swarm. Alright, so it says, place a Broodling into play with 4 life, or any player discards a relic in hand that costs 2 or more. Ooh, even more reason to buy the Mirror and the Defensive Dome. But we don't have any relics yet, so we are going to put out one of these dudes. Broodlings, they're all the same, except in this case, this one's spawning with 4 life instead of 3. So when this is discarded, it goes back to the Broodling deck, and every time it activates, or the Nemesis activates, any player suffers 1 damage and discards a card, which is a little bit nasty. So there it is, waiting for the first Nemesis turn. We get to see what the next foe card is going to be next time. Swarm gains 2 charges, which would let it bring 2 Broodlings or a killed minion back into play, or Gravehold suffers 3 damage. I'll probably just do the Gravehold one this first time. And next, back to Brahma. So yeah, I don't want to get rid of Funneled Rage. I like the idea of getting a lot of extra free ether. So when I suffer damage, I'll gain an ether token. And I can also suffer damage for other players. But let's go ahead, and we can't prep the spark yet. Let's say we're playing Eternium. So we're gaining 1 ether. We can suffer a damage and let an ally gain an ether token. So let's go to Jaunty. I think these might also be new. Again, I've never seen them before, but if they've been in other Aeon's End things, let me know. And my understanding is you have to spend them by the end of your turn, just like regular ether, or it goes away. So you can't hold them from turn to turn. All right, now because I use Eternium's ability to hurt myself, also Funneled Rage is going to give me 1. So that means I've already got 2 ether so far. 3, 4, 5. So let's see, for 4 I get to straight up open my 2. But now let's just, let's focus it. And when you focus, you can prep, so that'll let me put my spark in. And I've still got 3 crystals left. Maybe the Mirror. Yeah, I mean, now that I saw that I can avert some of the swarm things, and then being able to put some of those free electrifies for free charges on people, that seems pretty good. Although I could get Silent Sting, but that's not doing much damage by itself. I want to get a bigger one. All right, so we'll go ahead and buy that, and discard, and draw. And ooh, we should have a lot of ether next turn. Next turn is Friend. It's Delana's turn. It says Delana's going to gain 2 charges, or any player gains 1. I sort of want to get Jaunty's first infusion going quickly. So we'll pause a bit on healing and just have Jaunty get 1 charge. Once she gets 4, she can infuse and get her first, well, she has to get a breach open, but she can get a breach doing some cool stuff sooner. And next time, Delana will have a Soothing Aura, giving us 2 ether or 1 card draw. Not bad. Okay, now it is Jaunty's turn. So she's got Redirector. If she wants to prep it, she has to do something. She's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Although she could also give the friend a charge and just spend 4. And yeah, let's just keep things simple. I need to have a breach, right? So I'm going to go ahead and open for 4. That breach. I'm going to pay back the favor and give Delana a charge for my Banner of Sagas. And then I'll go ahead and prep Redirector, which is just a 1 damage right now. Its bonus is not going to do much. Or wait a second. Ooh. Never mind. Hold on. This is much smarter. Let's not give the charge. Let's spend the full 5. I didn't see how cheap it was to open her level 3 breach. And then she can put Redirector in there, and it'll get the +1 bonus from a level 3 breach twice from its power. So it'll deal 3 damage instead of 2, which is pretty darn good. All right, and there we go. Ready for the next turn. Oh, sorry, I did spend that. Oh, and it's Jaunty again, so we're going to have a double Nemesis turn in a row. That could be nasty sometimes. So we'll go ahead and have her do her Redirector. It's +2 from the breach power. And we will go ahead and get the Broodling down to where next time, I guess, Brahma or Jaunty goes, they can defeat it. Okay, now she can prep a Spark there. She's got 4 crystals. And I think one Washium for her would be good too, and then we could maybe focus on attacks for a while. Yeah, you know what? Actually, let's not buy the Washium and spend the 4 to charge, because I want to get my first infusion going and boosting attacks ASAP. I think that would probably be a good thing to do, especially with the redirector doubling whatever it does. All right. Oh, and she's going to have a redirector back in a second, so this should be cool. We should be able to get an infusion, add it to the +1 damage one, put the redirector in there, and get a double bunch of stuff turn. But first, we got to deal with 2 Nemesis turns in a row. Yay! First, we resolve everything. Broodling. Any player suffers 1 damage and discards a card. Well, I guess I don't want to do this every time, but for now, let's have Brahma take the damage. Because with her funneled rage, that'll get her 1 ether token. Then she has to discard a card, but hey, it all balanced out because that means she just stays even money-wise. Of course, you do want to use her power to heal at some point. Now we're going to draw our first Nemesis card. Oh god, right off the bat, Plague Bringer. Immediately, this minion suffers damage equal to the number of players in the game. And then let's see, Persistent. Gravehold suffers 2 damage, or reveal the top card of the infection deck. Player with the lowest fewest infections gains that infection. Okay, we got to kill that guy before Gravehold is destroyed. But that's it for the first Nemesis turn. Now we do the next one. So Broodling's going to do 1 damage again. And yeah, Brahma might die really quickly, but there we go. We're doing the same thing. She gets an ether, she loses an ether, stays even. And then the Plague Bringer plinks Gravehold down. I'm definitely not taking infections yet. All right, and we get an attack. We're going to unleash first. So how the Infector works is if they have 0 Nemesis tokens, they gain 1. And then we look at the top infection deck card and give it to somebody. In this case, it's Itching Infection. Discard a card in hand that costs 3 ether or more, or suffer 1 damage. Well, let's put it on Brahma. She has more healing ability, right? And then the next time he unleashes, we're going to take away the token, and all infection cards will be resolved. So that's kind of the back and forth of this one. Okay, then any player suffers 1 damage and discards a card in hand. And if that card is a gem, Gravehold suffers 2 damage. And yeah, in for a penny, in for a pound. I will lose one of these again. But again, gain an ether, so I haven't actually lost any tempo in my turn. But it does mean Gravehold is going to get plinked again because I discarded a gem. All right, and now, please God, I hope we don't get another Nemesis in a row, but it's always possible. Okay, cool. We got Janti. All right, first she can do 2 damage. And, should I waste 1 damage killing the Broodling, or should I start plinking the Plague Bringer? Let's get rid of the Broodling. Okay, now as planned, let me go ahead and spend 2 to get my 4th charge, and then fire it off. I get the top card of the infusion deck into my hand. Which one do I have? Mirrored Infusion. Attaches to any player's breach. When a spell is cast from this breach, the player who casts that spell may return it to their hand instead of discarding it. Hey, that's pretty cool. Although I guess the doubling is not going to matter at all for Redirector, but it'll be cool when she gets like really powerful spells later. All right, so we'll just go ahead and mirror that one. I guess we can do it like that. Okay, and then I'll put Redirector in there. That leaves her with only 2. Or I could give Delana 1, because we have taken a lot of damage already, Brahma specifically. Well, now let's start working towards our next charge, I guess. All right, next, okay, is Brahma. Cool. And I think I should have taken 1 more damage, right? Because I got 1 token on her own turn. Yeah. All right, so she can shoot off the Spark or the Funneled Rage. Again, Funneled Rage seems to kind of make sense. I should have put it like in a partially open breach. I think I'll just shoot off the Spark. Or no, you know what? I won't. I like leaving sparks as long as possible, just so I can get to my better stuff quicker. So what do I have here? I have 2, and then for 1, I can focus my closed breach with the lowest focus cost. Oh, I guess that'll be where the spark is anyway. How much am I going to have, by the way? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But if I spend 1 to use Washium's power, I'll have 5. Yeah, so let's leave Spark where it is, but I guess I will focus that one once with Washium. And then for 5, I do need to get some bigger attacks, so let's get a Time Rift going. That's going to do 4 damage, and then it lets each player reveal the top card of their deck and discard it if they don't like it. All right, cool. We got our Coruscating Mirror. Coruscating? I forget how to say the middle of that word. So if another minion comes out, we can electrify them immediately. First, we're going to have a Nemesis turn. So Plaguebringer is going to plink Gravehold. And then we got our first power card, Bubbling Veins. We can spend 6 to avert it, but it's got 3 power. Reveal the top 2 cards of the infection deck. The players collectively gain those infections. That's could be slightly worse, but yeah, if I can get 6 ether, I think I want to avoid that. Okay, next, oh, there we go, another event, or a Nemesis turn, so that's 22, 1 power token gone. And now we've got a Merc Spewer. If this minion is defeated by damage from a spark, we gain an infection, And it also damages Gravehold too, geez. Now there's another one that I don't remember seeing in Aeon's End before, these shield tokens. Were they in some expansion I missed? They will prevent any amount of damage and go away for 1 each time you attack. So basically they're great to like plink away with sparks. They're terrible to use anything else on. But yeah, I gotta hit this guy 4 times to get rid of him. Alright, I gotta get some attacking going then. It's Brahma's turn. Oh, I forgot. I would have revealed the coruscating mirror, and it would electrify our Merc Spewer. So when another token is applied to him or when he's killed, somebody will gain a charge. All right, I'll shoot off a spark to get rid of one of the shields from the Merc Spewer. And oh man, I'm gonna kill myself, aren't I? But I kind of wanna do it. All right, so yeah, I'll take a damage with Eternium, which will give me an ether token from my still funneled rage. I'm just really rageful, and also give a token over to my other character. So then I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, and I'll play the mirror. Any ally draws a card and gains an ether token. So Janti's gonna have an awesome turn. She's gonna have a ton of money. Okay, and yeah, I've got 5 ether. So not quite enough to get rid of that power card. Hey, you know what the hell? Let's get another time rift. And I'm gonna have to open some new breaches because otherwise I'll have no room for all this stuff. But good, the Washium will help with that in a second, because there's my time rift. Okay, next is our friend, Delana. She can let somebody draw a card or gain 2 tokens, ether tokens. Let's see, actually, real quick. If I give Janti 2 more tokens, that'll be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I could blow up that power card and still, like, maybe charge her or something. Although she also has no good spells yet, and with her redirector, now that she can get a spell back to her hand, she should maybe, like, buy the biggest spell possible. Well, either way, I do think Delana is going to give her 2 more tokens, and we'll just figure out what to do when her turn actually comes up. And next is Restore. She gains 2 charges, or any player can get a card from their discard pile back to their hand. I'll probably do the 2 charges, because I want to heal Brahma soon. Okay, next is the Foe. The Swarm is gaining 2 charges, or dealing 3 damage to Gravehold. Well, we could take 3 more damage on Gravehold. We'll be fine, right? There's that 7-cost spell that can heal Gravehold. And then Delana can heal Gravehold, but we've already taken a lot of damage. I don't know. And there we go. It's going to be Janti to finish up. So first she can do Redirector for 3 damage. And it goes back to her hand. Okay. So we'll go and do that clearly to the Plaguebringer. Get him down to 2 life, because it'd be a waste with the shields on the other guy. All right. I don't know. I'm going to actually have her spend 6. So that's all of these and 2 of her crystals to get rid of the bubbling veins before it happens. So leaves her with 2, possibly 3 money left. Let's actually put a charge on the healer for the Banner of Sagas. For the 2 crystals, let's focus this breach so we have somewhere to put these cards. We'll put the spark here, the redirector here to benefit from the doubling in case it matters. And that'll be that. That's another full set of turns. Let's go to the next one. It's going to be Brahma first. All right, I think I'm going to use Funneled Rage. I'll finally fire it off. Both to make room for Time Rift, but also to get rid of another shield from the Merc Spear. So we got to hit him 2 more times so he'll stop hurting Gravehold. All right, and now we'll prep Time Rift, of course. And let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could spend 2 and then use Banner of Infusion to double charge the healer. That seems like maybe it's a good idea. But if I also use Washium's ability, that would mean I only have 1, 2, 3. And then if I spent 2 for the charge, so I basically have no money if I focus a breach for free. Or not for free, clearly, in this case. Well, we'll do the charge thing later. Here's what I want to do, actually. I'm going to use 2 for the crystals to flip this, open my second breach. So those are already done. And then I'll use 1 of Washium's 2 to focus the 3 breach instead, since that's now a lot cheaper. And then with Banner of Infusion, that would leave me with a single charge left. Sure, I'll start working towards actually healing, I guess. Okay, next is... Oh, Brahma again. Ah, man. I didn't even draw her cards. Oh, that's actually a pretty good set of cards, though. All right, I guess I'll shoot off Time Rift. It's a bit of a waste since it does 4 damage, but I definitely want to get rid of this Plague Bringer before Gravehold suffers any more damage. All right, and Eternium. No, I'm not going to have her take any more damage. Okay, so it's 1, 2... Oh, God, only 2 money for the turn? Wow. Well, good thing I opened the breach. I'll put a spark here and a time rift here. I'll use Corsating Mirror to give the ether token and a card draw to my buddy on the left. She needs to buy some better cards soon. And I'll use the 2 to charge myself again toward healing and potentially healing Gravehold. And yeah, that'll be that. But at least I got a big spell prepped for the next, like, bigger, non-shielded enemy that comes out. That should be helpful. Ah, and there we go, Nemesis. Sadly, that does mean Gravehold is getting plinked by this Merc Spewer. Wonderful. And then what are they drawing? Oh, gosh. Banesire. oh man, they make them unleash each time, which remember is the one that's going to next time make our things trigger and then give us more of those green affliction, is that what they're called? Infection cards and go back and forth. So I definitely want to kill him soon, but I got the time rift to help with that. Okay, friend turn. What's Lana got? Gain 2 charges, or any player returns a card from their discard pile. Neither of us has a discard pile at the second, so she's getting 2 charges. 2 away from being able to heal us or Gravehold. That's great. Okay, next is Jaunty, and she's got a lot of money. Okay. So first, I'll definitely use the Spark to ditch the Merc Spewer's last shield. Now the question is, do I kill him with 3 damage from the Redirector, wasting some? Or do I wait for Brahma's turn, which is definitely going to come... Oh, no, she already had a double turn. Yeah, so I will, just to be safe. I don't want Gravehold to get hit again. I will use the Redirector. Goes right back to my hand. And I'm doing 3 damage to the Merc Spewer, more than needed. And then because he's electrified, I'm halfway to getting another one of those, whatchamacallits? Her infusions, that's right. All right, and then I'll prep Redirector again. And good lord, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yes. I could charge the healer, but no. Let's buy Restoration Siphon. I can just barely afford it. 6 damage or 1 damage, and Gravehold gains 3 life. Remember, it'll be plus 2 damage, whichever way I use it, if I cast it from there, and then it'll come back to my hand. How about that, y'all? That's going to be a recurring 7 over, and yes, and it's right there already over. Yay! Okay, but first, okay, the foe. What's the swarm doing? They place a Broodling no matter what I do, and then they get a charge towards restoring somebody. But this time it has the regular 3 life, so it's not too bad. All right, come on. Yes, I went before the Nemesis. Because I think I'll just go ahead and use the Redirector's 3 damage to kill the Broodling straight up and let it never go. This guy's worse, but I can't finish him right now, so that's okay. Oh, but now, I don't have enough breaches. Need to get some like destroying effect or something going. Okay. So I've got up to 3. So I could focus this one for 3. There we go. Oh no, that's only a 2 cost. So I'll focus it for 2, and then I'll give the healer a charge. There we go. That'll use my last crystal card. And then I'll go ahead and put the restoration. Actually, which ones do I want to do where? Well, yeah, I definitely want this just to bring it back to my hand after I cast it. And then I guess... Yeah, actually, this has no bonuses right now, so I'll put the Spark there so I can draw the Redirector and like put it... Oh, I guess I'd rather keep on using that thing for the Restoration Siphon. See, I don't know if any of this matters much. But yeah, either way, it's going to sit in my hand. Crud, man. Yeah, this is not great. But the rest of these are going away. Well, let's swap these and hope that I get some way to blow up the Spark. This is a drag on my hand right now. I'll try to focus the Breach 4 next time. Okay, and there's the Nemesis. So they're going to unleash, which since they have a token is going to trigger all of our infection cards. It's just for Brahma. Discard a card in hand that costs 3 either or more or suffer a damage. So that would be my Washium. I'll suffer the damage. We're gonna heal, right? Or at least we could use the Washium to get some charges toward healing. She's down to 4 life. And no anger even to help us out with it this time. And the new card. Oh, another power. Chaos Orb. Spend 6, otherwise Unleash and Gravehold suffers 4. I do not want that. Let's see if we can get a 6 Ether. We haven't really been focusing on that much. Alright, who's up first? The Swarm again. The Swarm gains 3 charges and the Friend gains 1. That would let us fire her off. But it's not that hard to do that anyway. Well, actually Look, her next thing is any player discards a prep spell. If they do, Delana the healer gains 3 charges. We can easily discard a prep like Spark, but she would waste the charges if she wasn't there. So, okay, we're not going to spawn a Broodling. We're going to get the Swarm very close. They bring the bottommost minion from the Nemesis discard pile back into play. So the weakest one, although, who is it? Oh, it's the Plaguebringer. He's not that weak, is he? But that's okay. We have stronger spells now. And then we have a charge... And their abilities are automatically resolved the second that there are enough tokens to do so. So let's give Brahma back 4 life this time. And then whenever she fires off her ability, she can just gain 2 life and heal Gravehold 4, I guess. And because we've gone through the 4th Swarm card, we're going to shuffle them up and see that we're going to do a Powered Broodling or discard a Relic. Ooh, so if Brahma gets lucky, maybe she'll have the Mirror to discard. Okay, now, it is Brahma's turn. Okay, so she will Time Rift the Bane Sire. We still haven't actually hit the boss, but, this is a game that ramps up, right? And then, do I care about the Spark? Well, I guess, yeah, my other character is about to be able to fire a Redirector for 1 damage, so sure. Let's go in and Spark the Bane Sire so he only has 1 life left. Okay, and then we will prep Funneled Rage. Or no, here, if we're going to use the Washium, we can prep it on the 3. So that gives me 5 crystals total. I'm going to use 1 to prep my cheapest breach. Put that, or not prep, what is it? Focus. So Funnel Rage can go there. Leaves me with 4 left. Let's see, I could buy Legacy Slayer. While prepped, when any player gains a relic, gain 1 charge. And then it does 3 damage. If we're going to buy any more relics. Actually, maybe instead, speaking of relics, I could do the, develop cost of Defensive Dome and then buy it for 4 later to totally cancel an attack card. It's kind of insane. Sure. We're going to develop that. Oh, I forgot. Because of Time Rift, we both get to look. She will definitely discard a crystal, and my other friend's top card's a crystal. They'll discard that as well. Get to better stuff faster. Speaking of better stuff, there's a mirror and a Time Rift. Okay, and it's our friend. So any player can focus a breach, or any player can discard a prep spell. And yeah, I'm going to discard Funneled Rage from Brahma to get 3 charges towards Delana healing Gravehold probably this time. And her next thing can let her get 2 charges. That'd be awesome. We'll heal again very soon. But first, Nemesis is going. Oh man, Banesire's still there to unleash, and we lose. Oh, I forgot about that. So we get an infection card, and it has to be the mage with the fewest viz going to go to Janti. Discard a relic in hand or suffer 1 damage. Well, geez, she could suffer damage forever. She hasn't been hurt yet. Okay, and then we got an attack, unleash twice. Any player gains a Scorched Pearl from the curse deck and places it on top of their deck. So let's do the unleash twice first. We each fire off our things, and then one of us will get a new card. So yeah, Janti's taking a damage because she can't discard a relic. And now that we have a lot of healing available, Brahma will take a damage too instead of discarding a card that costs some. Okay, now we're putting the token on and getting the card. Spreading Infection. Place a card in hand on top of your deck or suffer 1 damage. I'll also give that... Well, no, let's give that to Brahma since she can again take more damage. It also says somebody gets a Scorched Pearl. I think these were introduced in... This I have seen before, Outcast, these curse ones, although there's a new one. So it goes on top of your deck. So it's gain an ether and suffer damage, or spend 3 ether to destroy it. I feel like actually Janti has an easier time getting ether to spend. Well, but she has to get her breaches open. Now let's make it Brahma's next card draw. Okay, next is Janti. And okay, she'll use Redirector to do the last damage to the Banesire. Get out of here. Okay, and then she'll do Restoration Siphon. We don't need to heal Gravehold, so she'll do this full 8 damage, and then it comes back to their hand. And hey, we finally hurt this guy. They're at 52. Okay, and then we'll prep that. And I don't know, I guess we'll open this one and prep a spark in it. And sure, get a charge with our last 2. So that we're close to doing another one of her infusions. Or we could just get rid of the infusion and do 8 damage, but that doesn't seem worth doing until the end. Okay, and next is Brahma again, who has no attacks this time. Interesting. She'll go ahead and prep her Time Rift. And then she could get rid of one of her own charges to charge the healer twice, which would have the healer fire off her healing effect, but I don't think we need to do that yet. Do I want to do the Eternium? Oh, actually, I think I do, because I'm just looking. Janti has 4 ether in her hand. So between the mirror giving her +1... Well, actually, let's use the mirror first and see if the card she draws is a crystal, because then Janti will have the 6 to potentially get rid of the Chaos Orb before it fires off, is what I'm thinking. So I'll use the Celestial Mirror. Gives Janti 1 ether, and okay, there we go. So we don't need to hurt Brahma for the Eternium. It wouldn't really be useful. All right, so instead we got 1, 2, 3. Okay. It's not quite enough to buy her little layaway dome here. What about this then? Let's spend 2 from Eternium and Crystal to get a charge. And then let's have any player lose a charge to give the friend 2 charges, which is going to be enough to let Delana have full charges. And this time we will heal Gravehold for 4 because neither of my characters has lost 4 life yet. And all right, that wasn't too bad. Oh, cool. I'm going to have just enough money to get rid of the Scorched Pearl in a second. First, the Nemesis is going. Oh, geez, the Chaos Orb is about to go off, but I think Janti's the only one who hasn't gone yet, so we should be okay. Blisterkin. 9 life. When a player deals 4 or more damage to this minion in a single instance, that player resolves one of their infection. And it hits Gravehold every once in a while. And I could potentially just ignore him and go to the Nemesis's face. Have sort of consistent damage at this point. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Okay, and last, good, is Janti. All right, so... Yeah, Gravehold's got a lot of life now. We have healing. I'm going to hit the boss for 8 again, I think. It's just too good. Nope, that goes back to my hand. Love that. And I do have the Redirector here, and I'm not going to have any money to spend, so I guess we'll go ahead and use the Spark. And yeah, I'm just going to keep on going Nemesis and ignore the Blisterkin for a bit. Okay, then as planned, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So beautiful, I ditched the Chaos Orb just before it does a lot of badness. And then, yep, we know what Restoration Siphon is doing, and we know where Redirector is going. And that was a pretty straightforward turn. Oh, wait, hold on a second. Redirector doubles the bonus damage from this. So this should only be doing 7 damage, not 8. I think I've done that twice to the boss. So we'll go ahead and bump it back up to 45. There we go. Still an awesome combo, but yeah, not quite as broken as I thought. All right, let's see who's going again. And it's the Nemesis. All right, so the Blisterkin plinks Gravehold down to 19. And oh man, Viralax. 9 also. If the players collectively have fewer than 4 infections, which right now we do, reveal the top card of the infection deck, then any player gains that infection. Otherwise, the infector gains 1 Nemesis token. Oh. Okay, so they can build up more. They only give us infections when they don't have any tokens, so basically they'll fire off our infections a lot more. So maybe we should kill these guys. Okay, Brahma's up. And sure, let's do Time Rift on the guy who just came out. The one who doesn't infect us when we hurt him. So that's going to be 4 out of 5. So now we could just Restoration Siphon him away. And we each get 2 check. Crystal go away. And yeah, Crystal also for Jaunty. And we'll prep a Time Rift. We'll prep a Thingamajig. And I think I'm just going to use the Washium and the Crystal to destroy the Scorched Pearl. Bit of a dull turn, but it's okay. And, oh, okay. That works. That works. Actually, that's great. Because this is exactly 5 damage. We're going to do Time Rift. Oh, I didn't draw. Hold on. All right, there we go. So I'm going to do Time Rift and then Spark. Oh, I guess Time Rift will happen. And then I got to draw. Yeah, actually, I will discard that. And Jaunty will discard another Crystal. But yeah, Time Rift. And then Spark will kill this guy before he ever does anything. All right, then we'll put Funneled Rage up here. And, ooh, you know what? I will go and use Eternium's power this time since I have Funneled Rage. So that'll get an ether for each of us from the combination. And then I'll use Coruscating Mirror to give another ether and a card draw to Jaunty. And what do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4 money. Oh, let's buy the dome. Yay! Okay, so now we're ready to relic it up. Actually, maybe let's put the mirror down below so we have more chance of having a relic in our hand whenever that specific swarm card comes up that wants one, although we didn't get it yet. Okay, next is Jaunty, and she is not going to attack the boss. She'll go ahead and cast Restoration, or sorry, she is going to attack the boss for 7. Gets him down to 38. I know it doesn't get discarded. What am I doing? I need a spot for my Spark. Can I open up my 4 yet? Or I really should get like another infusion going. That seems to make more sense. So yeah, like I'll leave Redirector there for now. There's not really anything I care about hitting for 1. And then, how much do I have? I have 4, 5, 6, 7. I could just open my 4 straight up. That's interesting. Yeah, and actually, Delana's next thing is going to let somebody get a charge. So we don't have to worry about that yet. Let's do the 7. Let's open up the 4. Let's put Restoration Siphon there. Let's put the Spark there. It'll do 2 damage. And we'll stop for now. Gee, she really has a tiny kind of weak deck, but she's getting such great use out of that one spell. It doesn't matter much. Friend is next. Oh, and that's going to be Delana giving any player a charge. So next time, she'll be able to do some cool stuff. There's the Nemesis again. Blisterkin's knocking Gravehold down to 17. And gosh, we got a lot of minions. Volcanic Zala. Persistent Gravehold suffers 3 damage or any player loses 2 charges. Well, we can do that second one. But gosh, 10 life. We're not into the 3s yet. That's still a 2. I need to hit this guy faster and harder. Okay, the foes next. Darn it. Neither of Brahma's relics are in her hand. So we're going to have to put a Broodling with 4 life into play. All right, there we go. Next is Jaunty. All right, Jaunty says 7 damage just to the boss. Yeah, I just want to kill this guy. And no, it doesn't go there. And then I guess I'll do the Spark for 2. Why not? Down to 29. And maybe I should cast Redirect just so I can put in my 4 later and get to do 3 damage instead of 2. Okay. And then we'll put... well, let's see what my new one is. Okay, so I'll go ahead and spend 2 crystals to get another infusion. Oh, wait, hold on. I don't need to. I really forgot that I already got charged. All right, so let's do the infusion. Attach this to any player's breach. 2 spells may be prepped in this breach. Woohoo! Okay, I mean, I think... Wait, does it say we can't do the same one? Any player's breach doesn't say. Okay, so I'm going to double up. So, I'll go ahead and put this in there for now, but once I get Redirector back, it's just going to be like attack forever. That seems cool. Now, what do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 1 charge to Delana. Well, you know what? I should probably try to get another better spell. So let's get a Time Rift for her. And now that we can fit a ton of cards. And yeah, we'll just try to kill. All right, and there we go. All right, and first, oh my gosh, it's Jaunty again. So she's Restoration Siphoning for 7. That's all it does. This one just lets me fit more stuff. So boss is down to 21. Yeah, I think going for the face is going to be fine here. Okay, then we'll prep Restoration Siphon and Redirector and Spark. And then for 3, I don't know, get a charge. Sure. And there comes our Time Rift. Cool. And next, what the heck? Okay, I'll take it. Oh god, how much damage am I doing? These are both coming back to my hand. So that's 7, doubling the effects. So that's 10, 12. 12 damage, which gets them down to 9. Okay, this is going to be over quickly, isn't it? Jaunty's going to win this single-handedly. And then I can put that back in. And then I'm going to put the Time Rift. I mean, honestly, Redirector is still better here because it benefits from more bonus. So, yeah. Oh, but no, wait. I want to get the Time Rift back in my hand. I mean, clearly the boss will be dead, so it won't matter. But I got to go through a full cycle of turns before we'll get back around to her. And then I got 4 crystals. Sure. I'll just go ahead and charge twice, I guess. So we got to do 9 more damage. And that's pretty much going to be all Jaunty because Brahma doesn't have much prepped. Oh, first a Nemesis. And it's a lot of Nemesis this time. Okay, Gravehold 2. Any player loses 2 charges. Sure. We'll take them from Jaunty. And then any player suffers a damage and discards a card. Now what the hey, we'll take it from Brahma because she's going to get a ether from it. So why not since she's got enough. Wait, I definitely should not have that, I don't think. I think I already spent that. And the new card. Gosh darn, it's an attack and I still don't have my little helmet thing. Any player discards 3 cards and suffers 2 damage. Wow. Oh, and speaking of, Brahma was supposed to discard. You know, let's actually have Jaunty do it because these crystals don't really matter when she's going to win the game for us if she gets another turn. All right. And there's Brahma. How much damage can she do? Redirector's there. Oh, she just has Funneled Rage. Yeah, we'll just leave it there. Whatever. We will go ahead and get Time Rift. And then for money, I don't know. Let's get 2 more charges just to have charges to throw away for that Zala guy. Oh, we had 1 more money. 5. Whatever. We don't need it. We're about to win. It's fine. Hey, and we got our helmet. Yay! Because there's the Nemesis. Of course, now watch. We'll never draw another attack again. So Gravehold 2. 2 charges I'll take from Brahma to avoid the Zala's attack. And 1 damage, 1 card. And I don't know. We'll do Brahma again because she'll get a token from it. And the new card. Darn it. It's not an attack. Power 4. That's never going to happen. So we don't care. What does it say? Unleash 3 times. Okay. We're just kind of going through the motions now. Friend. Delana gains 2 charges or any player returns a card from their discard. Discard honestly makes more sense here. Let's go ahead and get a Washium back for Brahma. And then, it is Brahma's turn. And she will hit the boss for 5, the most she can do. And we get to discard a top card if we don't like it. Sure. So the other one, the Funneled Rage. So he's down to 4, and Brahma's got a Time Rift in hand. So whether Brahma goes next or Jaunty goes next, either of us will be able to kill the guy. Yeah, let's prep the Time Rift. We've got 1, 2, 3. We're not going to suffer any damage. 4. We'll get some charges. Oh, and 5 again. All right, whatever. We'll buy another Time Rift. It matters. We're going to keep the defensive dome just so that if they attack, we have it ready to go. In fact, now we have both our relics. Just in time for the foe to go. And Swarm gains 2 charges or Gravehold suffers 3 damage. We'll do the Gravehold damage because the charge would have them summon another minion. Although, whoops, their next card's going to have them gain a charge anyway, so maybe I should have done the other one. All right, and last go through of the turn order deck. This is it. Oh, man, Nemesis first. Okay, 2 Gravehold. I'll get 2 charges from somewhere for there. Broodling will do a damage and discard a card. That loses a token. Yeah, whatever. We'll do the damage and the charges from Brahma. A new card. Still not an attack. Although it's a power that will also never go off. So it's fine. Okay, next. What the? All right. We'll go through the ringer. So it's, 2 5 damage to Gravehold. I didn't have enough charges this time to stop it. Somebody has to discard a card. We lose tokens that don't matter. It's actually getting closer than I thought. Okay. Lose your crystal and life. And then, unleash twice, and any player Gravehold suffers 3 damage. Guess what? I say nay, sir. Defensive dome. I mean, we would have survived anyway, because we certainly had enough life to take that damage, but would have been a lot closer. And then, come on. Okay, Brahma's going to get the killing blow, not Jaunty. Interesting. Because, yep, here we go. 4 damage, and we are done. All right, so that is the first battle on Aeon's and the Descent. It was actually a lot closer than I thought it would be, just because I was kind of rushing things. So let's talk about how I feel about the new content. So first of all, the new mages, I'll only show you the 4 that are like non-spoiler that you start out with. Brahma's fine, very basic, nothing like really too interesting there except for her like kind of taking damage for other people and giving out those ether tokens. That's a bit fun. Jaunty is pretty cool. I like the variety of how her cards come out, but it does sort of sometimes lead to a repetitive strategy and not as much deck building as you saw here, because if she gets certain breaches, especially that one that brings it back to her hand, she can just kind of abuse the same spell over and over. But still, she's pretty cool, and that was a lucky pool that I got that return card as the first one. Thraxier is another pretty basic one, like Brahma. He likes to focus his breaches a lot, and then he can help people focus or do a ton of damage once he does. And he's got an awesome level 4 breach that does bonus damage based on how many other open ones he has, so he can just do tons of damage. And if you have Jaunty boosting him, it's kind of a crazy combo. And then Lisanne is probably my favorite one out of the new people. When she uses her ability the first time, she basically turns into a giant monstrosity with extra life, and she gets a super, like, 8-cost crazy card to her hand, and then she can just, like, use it over and over again. So she's my favorite. She, like, transforms into beast mode, and I just think it's a lot of fun. So they're okay. You know, a bit of a mixed bag, but nothing too bad in here. They're all at least fine, and especially Lisanne, I think, is a ton of fun. Looking at the player cards, and again, there's only a subset of what you'll unlock in the game. They're fine. You know, Aeon's and Astronauts usually doesn't blow me away with player card variety, but these are okay. I like the new develop thing. I think that's new. That's kind of a fun extra choice. And the thing I really like are these new elemental tokens. I didn't get a ton of things that use them, but they kind of add a bit more interesting choice in the cards. They let them have more varied abilities. So I like the concept of these, and it does make things like the Mirror and the Silent Sting and these ones, the ones that use them, certainly more engaging without having a ton of text on the card. It gives them more interesting powers. So I generally like that. There are a few cool things here. The develop, the elemental tokens, but it's still kind of more of the same for Aeon's End, where the player cards are fine, but not really the standout feature of the game. As for the new nemesis, the Infector you saw was pretty basic. I feel like I've seen something like this where he gives you sort of a negative card that does some things. I've seen this a billion times before, but he's fine. You need some basic ones in each set. There's another one, I won't spoil any of them, but there's another one that's pretty basic. But then the other, what is it, 2? Yeah, the other 2 are really cool. So yeah, it's 2 really cool ones that I find quite unique. Well, one of them is sort of well, I don't want to spoil that, but never mind. 2 of them are pretty unique in their mechanics, and 2 of them feel pretty basic and like kind of standard. Nothing wrong with that. I think they're fine. They're not necessarily standouts, but they are doing some pretty cool things with them. Now, the most interesting thing about the new set, I think, is the Friend and Foe module. And this is going to be a mixed bag based on your taste. I tend to think it's pretty cool. I like that you can try to mitigate this. You can boost yourself with this. It also, although this wasn't like in the official rules, it gives you nice difficulty modifiers in a different way than just doing the increased difficulty of the Nemesis, which I really appreciate. Because like if I'm playing with my kids, I can just have a friend and no foe. If I want to play a much tougher game, I can just have a foe and no friend. And in this set, you have 4 of each once you unlock all of them, and you can mix and match them in lots of fun ways. And they get really cool. Like I like some of the ones that Delana the Healer is fine, but there's some that like permanently upgrade your cards and things as they go. So I think this is a fun expansion. Now, that being said, already one of the problems potentially with Aeon's End sometimes is the downtime. So how is it to have to resolve a whole extra 2 turns every go through of the turn order deck? I would say it's not that bad. These turns are super fast. You don't have to really make many choices. Usually it's an or choice, and you just do a card, and then you move on. You know, it's not like the Nemesis cards where they build up and build up. And even the Swarm putting out minions is a bit unusual. The other ones that I played with, I don't think any, well, wait, maybe one of them, but most of them didn't put out anything, so they kind of kept the game moving. So yeah, I don't think this is too much of a drawback, but it is more to manage. It is more to keep in mind. If you already find Aeon's End intimidating for your particular play group, then I wouldn't say this is going to be a boon for you, but I personally tend to like it. I think it's probably my favorite thing about the new set. And then finally, for the story, this one's a little bit mixed for me, but I will say I have not played every Aeon's End set. I didn't do Legacy of Gravehold, so I feel like I'm behind on the story. And this one doesn't, it feels like it's a new story in kind of a new world. Again, I'm not sure if it's a prequel or like a reset or something. It kind of feels like both. But the story does have its own kind of coherent point, but I feel like they're dropping Easter eggs in, and I don't know what they're referring to. It reminds me of like watching MCU movies when I don't follow all of those. So that part, at least for me, was a little bit annoying. For big Aeon's End fans, I'm sure it'll be fine. The writing is okay. It does feel like it goes too long. Like you have to read, look at this, like 3 or 4 pages to get started with each thing. So I kind of wish it was a bit more straightforward. Like even what I read, where it was just the dialogue, look at all the paragraphs and paragraphs and paragraphs of exposition that I skipped before we actually got here's where the first battle starts. That's 3 pages of text on a paper. So yeah, I think the story is going to matter a bit based on like your investment in the Aeon franchise. But the nice thing is you can just open everything up and ignore that entirely and just play the campaign. And it doesn't really matter. So yeah, your mileage may vary, but that is Aeon's End, The Descent. I'm not sure if it's enough to get me back into the system. I have stepped out of Aeon's End myself because I slightly prefer the quicker setup of Astronites. But, replaying Aeon's End, it does remind me that there is certainly more interesting choices, like in how you spend your money and all that kind of stuff. So it's definitely a great game still, and I'm sure the Aeon's End fans are going to eat this one up. Friends and foes, elemental tokens, all that stuff, a lot of fun. So yeah, everybody, thanks for watching. Go check out the crowdfunding page whenever it's up. And at the end of some videos, we like to thank our co-op champions, our biggest supporters on Patreon. So I'd like to give a shout out to Minkus, J. Willie MF, and Steve Wren. Thanks, patrons, and thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you at the next stop.